I was walking down the street in Polanco, Mexico, when I hear the alarm. I looked at my friend Carla, who's next to me, and says, "Isn't it a bit of an overkill? We just heard the alarm. Like, we just had a drill a few hours ago." So, earlier that day, Mexico, as a nation, had a nationwide earthquake drill to commemorate the massive earthquake that hit Mexico City 20 years back. Carla then says, as she pulls me in the middle of the street, "Anna, I think it's the real thing. Look, I heard it before I felt it. The chains around the sidewalk started clinking. The cars on the streets started clambering up the sidewalk. And as I look up, the buildings in front of me started to sway, bumping into each other, clouds of dust wafting up into the sky. And then suddenly, hordes of people started pouring out on the street. As I look, all I could think about was, one, well, isn't this ironic or fortuitous because we just had the drill? But two, this is how I'm going to go, unloved and unremembered in Mexico City. Will my ex check to see if I was okay? I made sure to keep him on the email chain on my spontaneous trip to Mexico City. Because you see, the love of my life just broke up with me, and I ran to Mexico to distract myself. The next day, my social media stream came out with announcements of the various acopios, the help centers, popping up around various neighborhoods to help people who were victimized by the earthquakes. My friend Carla has this thing what I call rich girl guilt. She feels that we need to do something to help. So she goes like, "Anna, we need to do something." So she drags me into the supermarket where we can bring donations because at this time, cash does no good. But then when we get to the supermarket, we go, "What do you give to people who've lost everything? Toilet paper, cheese, canned goods." I mean, we looked at each other confused. So we grab a bunch of stuff because someone said like, "Oh, we need diapers, toilet paper." So we get a bunch of random stuff, and we go to the neighborhood acopio, a high school gymnasium where one of Carla's friends was volunteering. As we drop off the goods, somehow through language misunderstanding, they thought we were there to volunteer. And suddenly I found myself having a sticker on my name, Anna with a single N. And as I tried to explain I was just there to donate, they said, people started forming a human chain around me. And I was like, all I could think about, "Oh, honey, I'm management, not labor. I went to business school I went to business school. I'm more of a thinker, not a doer. But I can't leave the chain because suddenly people are passing out stuff from the trucks parked on the street all the way to the gymnasium, so I can't break the chain. So suddenly I find myself carrying stuff and like things like as random as 1.5-liter bottle of water to a box of water, and my knees buckle at the weight because who knew water could be so heavy? And as we go through this for a few hours, I look at Carla, keep mouthing her, "I'm hungry," and she keeps shaking her head because like we have to help until finally someone relieves me and gives me like white bread as snack. By the way, I have not had white bread since I was in grade school. But at that moment, that was the most delicious thing I've ever eaten, and I was so grateful to the stranger who offered it to me. And as we were ready to pack up and call it a day, muscle sore and aching, we hear cheers coming out towards the street. So Carla and I walk towards it, and we see bags, plastic bags of all these stuff that we were bringing in at the back of motorcycles. These guys who look like modern day knights in knights in shining armor, off to go to these places where cars can't go. And I find myself cheering along with them, and tears around my cheeks wet with tears. Because suddenly I realized that I was part of something bigger. Like that earthquake um, not only rocked my world, but also knocked some sense into my head. And if you're curious, my ex did check on me a few days later, but at that time, it didn't matter anymore. Thank you.